You'll only see on Local 10 of a community coming together to track down a thief.
It all started with a social media post about the crime in Wilton Manors, and soon after, that suspect was caught. Local 10 News reporter Christian De La Rosa live now with this exclusive for us tonight. Christian.
Well, just for context, so this happened here at the Wilton Collective, which works with a lot of LGBTQ youth, which is why what happened here probably got a lot of people angry and got them to jump into action.
We're an LGBTQ nonprofit in that we work with youth or LGBTQ friendly youth. We do work programs.
Julian Cavazos over at the Wilton Collective in Wilton Manors thought he was just another customer.
And he stuck them in his arm like this.
Watch the man. He's acting like he's just browsing, but see him in front of the jewelry display and check him out picking up a pair of shoes. A surveillance camera recorded him exiting the back door.
Something did not seem right, so I went back, and that's when I started checking the cameras. Here he is, that I know of. He stole a John Hardy ring, and he stole a pair of shoes. And I did something I've never done before.
Cavazos took to social media, where the news took off.
There were so many people that jumped into action. People were taking pictures of him. He went to a restaurant. There are pictures of him sitting at a restaurant having a cocktail. People started sending me like where he was at all the way up until he got to his final destination where the police finally picked him up. People jumped into action, and that's our community. I've known this for a long time. I've always said I live in the best community in South Florida.
So the man is suspected of having stolen several hundreds of dollars in items. We're standing by to get an update from the Wilton Manors Police Department as to whether or not this man may be connected to other crimes in the area. Of course, we'll keep you posted here on air and on my social media at C. De La Rosa WPLG. We're live in Wilton Manors. I'm Christian De La Rosa. Local. They kick off another week rallying to keep their cause alive. Another week they stand in solidarity with protesters in Cuba against their communist regime. From Versailles to the Freedom Tower and from Hialeah Park, where dozens pray. Amen. There was even a rally in Pembroke Pines.
They're rallying for the ability to speak without fear of being beaten or tortured, and that's what's happening.
Meanwhile, in Cuba, in Camagüey, independent journalist Henry Constantine says government officials detained him for 10 days. He says he wasn't allowed to call his family and was questioned for hours. He says what happened this past July 11th radically changes Cuba's future. Cubans out by the masses, unafraid to protest, their taste of free speech. But he says places like Camagüey remain under heavy police and military surveillance. Most concerning, he says, the growing number of Cubans being sentenced to prison for joining the protest. This brand new website, CubaMissing.com, is helping keep track of the victims, those who've been detained or are missing.
We can really create some strong solidarity, even legal action, in support of these young people that are being denied their most basic rights.
Back in South Florida, celebrities like UFC fighter Jorge Masvidal is asking young people to keep hitting the streets.
Get off Instagram in the clubs, you know, people are dying, people are hungry.
And if you'd like to learn more about the CubaMissing.com website, we've posted a link to it on ours. Just go to local10.com. We're in Little Havana. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
Tonight, we are hearing from a family who lost everything when flames from a nearby business spread to their home.
Yeah, Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live in Hallandale Beach with their story. Christian.
So it's been 2.5 weeks since this fire at this tire shop, and tonight, for the first time, we're seeing the devastation inside the family home right next door. Fire and black smoke billowing into the air, the violent blaze, leaving thousands without power earlier this month. The flames erupting from this tire shop on Pembroke Road and 24th Terrace and ripping into this family home next door. Now, for the first time, pictures of the tragic loss inside the house.
Everything in my house completely destroyed. Everything, clothes, shoes, everything. My kids don't have nothing.
Gerline Philogene showed us the images. The bedrooms, the bathrooms, the kitchen, it's a total loss.
The wolf come in. We lost everything in the house.
Emmanuel Philogene says the entire family was watching TV when he opened the back door and saw flames shooting towards his house.
We see the fire coming. Yes, we don't save nothing.
The entire family running for their lives, leaving everything behind. This was the first home the Philogenes ever purchased.
It hits hard.
The Philogenes' eldest daughter says nearly 3 weeks after the inferno, she's still waiting for answers.
What could you have possibly done to cause a fire so massive?
State fire officials tell Local 10 News their investigation is still ongoing.
My kids alive, my husband and then me. I thank God. We can replace everything, but we cannot replace life.
Both of the family's vehicles parked out here were also destroyed in the fire. They've been staying with a relative at a one-bedroom apartment where they are sleeping on the floor. If you can find a way to help this family in their time of need, just go to our website, local10.com. We're live in Hallandale Beach. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10.
Thousands packed Bayfront Park in a rally calling for change in Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. The Miami Police Department estimated 35,000 people in attendance. The crowds watched Latin music artists perform who were standing in solidarity with the three countries. City leaders like Miami Mayor Francis Suarez were in attendance.
We have to make it clear to the rest of the United States why this is important.
And Miami Police Chief Arde Acevedo says events like this are personal to him.
I'm a Cuban refugee, and it's past time for those murderous communist regime to be out the door.
Today's rally comes after dozens were held in the city in the last month. It's another way Miami locals are sending the message they're not giving up on securing freedom for oppressed Latin countries.
The Cuban government is going back and beating them and put them in jail, and families ain't knowing about it, nobody. And we're just here trying to see if our president, if our country tries to do something for them.
In the last week, our community lost 2 first responders. Now a corrections officer is in the ICU with COVID. Tonight, his family is opening up about his fight.
Nicole and Suzanne Bezos are twin sisters and self-proclaimed daddy's girls.
This is us trying to be like my dad.
Their father, Peter Bezos, or as they call him, Positive Pete, really does it all. For close to 30 years, Bezos has worked for the Department of Corrections. To his family, he's a coach, the dad with surprise flowers in hand, and the guy who takes the family dog to the vet.
Lucky, say hi, Lucky.
So having him here at Broward Health North in an intensive care unit is so tough.
It feels like a nightmare we can't wake up from right now.
Bezos has COVID-19. He suffered from double pneumonia, spending 6 days in the hospital. 12 hours after his initial hospital release, he was rushed back to the emergency room. Bezos suffered a stroke and is now partially paralyzed on the left side of his body.
I just know every minute he is going to fight as hard as he can.
381 people are hospitalized in Broward Health facilities. Most COVID patients in hospitals, they're not vaccinated. Broward Health's intensive care unit is in overdrive with a tired staff wearing thin. The Bezos family waits by the phone for his medical team with any good news.
If you call him Positive Pete, he will be so happy.
Because of strict COVID restrictions for hospital visits, the family can hardly see him, but are staying as positive as they can for their Positive Pete.
We just know that you're gonna be okay one day soon too.
Hospital admissions are on the rise. At last check, Broward had the most of any county in the country. And the family, they did receive some good news. Bezos is slowly being weaned off of a ventilator, but he still has a long road ahead. In Broward County, Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
This was really a chaotic ride, and it ended here in this neighborhood, but police, they're still looking for the suspect. This gas station surveillance video shows the moments a car with a 2-year-old in the back seat was stolen. This is who police are looking for, the man in the blue jersey. Watch here. He walks out, gets in the car, and the child's mother runs out. She jumps onto the car, chasing it as it speeds away with her toddler inside.
Well, she ran. I wanted with her. I was like, what happened? She was like, somebody just stole my car with my baby in it. I was like, your baby?
Demarion Hudson saw what happened. He and the mother chased the car. They ended up in this neighborhood. One 0.2 miles away.
When we had got to the car, the car seat was flipped over, the baby was under the car seat, crying. I'm like, whoa.
The driver bailed, ditching the car.
He starting to get out. I seen him running, with something in his hand, ran and jumped over the fence.
This is video of the baby with her mother after she was found. Police dusted the car for fingerprints in hopes of possibly identifying the suspect.
Only thing that matters, she got the kid back. That's all that matters.
You know, if it wasn't for you, this could have turned out differently.
Yeah, it could have. That's what I said. That's why I ain't, I'm just happy I can help her, that's all.
And Mayor Trentalis was not standing far right from where I'm at this current moment. He was right by that white pickup truck when he watched it mow down 2 people and then after come crashing into this garden. You can see some of the damage right here behind me. Now at the time, the mayor was just saying a lot of emotion was going through his mind. He was really thinking this was an act of terror, but now he is walking back those comments. After a pickup truck struck 2 men at the Stonewall Pride Parade, killing one and sending another man to the hospital Saturday, Fort Lauderdale's Mayor Dean Trentalis reacting.
It's terrible. They're laying on the ground. This is clearly a terrorist act against the LGBT community. This is disgusting. We're fearful of our lives.
That was not the case, however, after police confirmed this was not a terrorist attack and may have just been a terrible fatal accident. Now the mayor is walking back his comments.
I immediately knew that something terrible was happening. My visceral reaction was that we were being attacked.
At a vigil Sunday, the mayor explaining why he called the Pride incident a terrorist attack.
It was a moment that so many images flashed through my head.
He says he truly believed the incident was another random attack on the LGBTQ community, and he was worried for the safety of Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was nearly hit by the pickup.
I regret the fact that I said it was a terrorist attack because we found out that it was not. But I don't regret my feelings. I don't regret that I felt terrorized by someone who plowed through the crowd.
And while police say this does appear to be an accident, they say this is an ongoing investigation. Once we get any more information, we will be sure to let you know. In Wilton Manors, I'm Joseph Ojo, Local 10 News.
Over the past few hours, the wind has shifted, which has made the entire area where we are standing consumed with smoke. But make no mistake about it, what we are dealing with is nothing compared to what these firefighters are dealing with. You can see that large plume of smoke there coming from that building, those first responders right in the middle of it as they continue to search for survivors. With more than 24 hours that have passed and a search continuing for survivors believed to be trapped beneath the rubble, a sign of hope.
I saw them looking over the rubble. I saw them hovering over the certain rubble. So if there is hope, if there are some noises, that's hope.
A memorial with flowers and pictures of loved ones who have lost their lives and others still missing now grows just a block away from the collapse.
What were they thinking in those 10 seconds that they had of life? They reach over to their husband, to their loved one, to their grandma, to their son, to their anything. Did they reach over? Did they say, I love you? Did they say, this is it?
Urban search and rescue crews with Miami-Dade Fire persistent in their efforts as they work around the clock, meticulously sifting through the debris by hand and tunneling their way through the destruction.
They could be your mom, they could be your sister, they could be anybody that you love.
Leo Soto still searching for his friends Nikki Langsfield and Louis Sadovnik, a young couple with their entire lives ahead of them.
They were going to have kids, they were going to grow up together, their kids were going to have kids, and all that came to an end on seconds.
Like many directly affected and even those who didn't know anyone in the Champlain Tower, Soto overwhelmed with emotion, but hopeful this memorial will bring just that, hope. Hope that his friends and others will be found alive, but with each hour that passes, the death toll rises, and so does the number of people who loved ones still have yet to hear from. Those unaccounted for, now at 159 people.
We currently have 4 task forces that are operating, Florida Task Force 1, which consists of Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, frontline firefighters, as well as 3 other task force from within the state that are here. We did utilize as well task force members from Mexico that are here, so we kind of incorporated them or injected them with our current task force as we go out. and with search groups, so we utilize them in different capacities.
Neighbors and relatives watching as crews work through the rain and smoke, now fighting fires that sporadically ignite beneath the pile of concrete and twisted metal.
These are the best first responders in the world. These are the ones that are sent to trouble spots. They've been to 9/11, they've been to Haiti, they've been wherever there is a disaster, and they are bringing that expertise to bear right here.
As we come back out to that crane and other heavy machinery in this area, now removing that debris from that building as they work to find those survivors, we can tell you that more of that equipment is expected in the coming days as they continue to search for people that may be trapped beneath that rubble. When we spoke with Governor Ron DeSantis, he says 100% of their focus is now in that search and rescue effort, but at some point that will have to shift to finding out what exactly caused that building to come down. He says the families of those victims deserve to know that. For now, here in Surfside, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
911, what is the emergency?
It's a body out here in the canal.
All right, ma'am, take a deep breath for me. What city is that?
In Lauderhill.
You could hear the concern from Lauderhill residents as they call police to report they just found the body of a young girl in a canal behind their home Tuesday.
I need you guys to come off of 56 in the Habitat area to see if there's a little girl body in the water.
Unfortunately, that victim would be the first of two young girls found dead in that canal, 9-year-old Destiny and her 7-year-old sister, Daisha Hogan. Police providing us with these pictures after neighbors said the two were last seen alive with their mother, 36-year-old Tanessa Hogan, near those waters just after 5 in the evening Monday.
She was out there like swimming in the water and said, "Come here, let me baptize you."
That mother now at the center of this investigation as detectives work to find out what led up to her children's deaths.
We do have a person of interest at this time. However, we have not received an official ruling on cause and manner of death from the medical examiner's office.
Lauderhill police now parked outside of the home of Tanessa Hogan. It's right here where they say she lived with her 2 young daughters. One of those girls found in the water right behind it. More than 8 hours later, the other sister discovered in that same canal.
If you're familiar with any churches, organizations that the family may be part of, please call us. We desperately need to know what these relationships are and put some context to how this may have happened.
Meanwhile, it's neighbors like Marie Williams who wish they could have done more to prevent this tragedy from ever happening.
Maybe something could have intervened or called and got help for the kids.